What's going on, family? Black Feniks checking in. I want to talk to you about breaking generational black curses. I'm under the tree that my mom was under in the photo that was in the background of the post photo that's on this video. My mom, man, my mom, she really taught me work ethics, family. When I think about it now and all the things that I experienced up to this point in my life, my mom really, really, really taught me work ethics. Like she showed me you can push your body to the point where you can literally cripple your body. That's what she did. She ended up getting down in her health because, she was willing to sacrifice her body to work hard to be able to take care of my sister and myself. And she said that I remember her telling me that she wanted me to figure out a way to do it different. Do something that I enjoy doing, doing something that won't break me down at the end of the day. And you know, when you think about the way you came up, especially, for those of us who came up in rural areas, in the ghetto, in the hoods, single parent homes, poor, you know what I mean? I remember telling a classmate of mine, I was talking, and I was like, I remember growing up in my grandfather's house where literally, fam, I can be eating and roaches will be crawling on the floor and dropping from the ceiling, family, no lie. What's up with it, family? Roaches be dropping from the ceiling. I just push them out the way and keep eating my food, bro. You know what? And I literally thought, it was what it was. You know what I mean? That was just the life we was living. But my grandfather taught me a lot, and I can say he spoiled me. You know what I mean? He always gave me ice cream in the morning. My mom used to be mad about that. She'll call and be like, so how what he's eating and this and this, because I was staying with my grandfather while she was in Denver, and she was like, oh yeah, we just left him up here and had ice cream. And I remember my mom used to say, don't be giving him no ice cream, it's just too damn early. You know what I mean? So it was always strange and funny how how your grandparents will do you. Your grandparents can always do things your parents don't really allow you to do, but they can get away with it. You know what I mean? But I gained a lot of wisdom from my grandfather. But I was thinking about the black generational curses that we have in our families. Um, I was raised in the era where, well, my father and his mother, and especially his mother, was raised in the era where it was black magic voodoo, so to speak. And they did a lot of different things coming up from the Louisiana, because my dad's parents come up from Louisiana into Arkansas, into Eudora. So they history and their bloodline is pretty, it's kind of awesome once I found out about it. Once I found out about, my heritage, finding out that my dad is actually, he's half black and half um, Cherokee Indian, you know what I mean? And once I did Cherokee Native American. And once I did the research on it, I found out pretty much that everything was pretty much accurate as far as, my descendants from my dad's side. Pretty much all of them was dark skinned and had real good hair. All of them. I got some real nice pictures of my grandparents, grandmother, and some of my uncles and things like that, and some of my great uncles and stuff. And man, it was just amazing to see how it starts, because it starts from your dad's side. You know what I mean? But there was a lot of stuff that happened in my dad them side of the family that I wasn't aware of when I was young. And one of them was my grandmother. My grandmother was actually she lived in Arkansas City. Salute, family. My grandmother actually lived in Arkansas City, and in Arkansas City, it's a small place, and I was told that she used to do hair. She did hair, and my grandfather, he was a World War II veteran and like a taxi cab guy in the city, and he also cut hair. And, he was a tall, attractive guy. So, he was pretty much like a ladies' man. I ain't gonna lie, he was a ladies' man, you know what I mean? So, a lot of times, my grandmother would be over there doing hair, on some of my grandfather, women. And I remember my mom used to tell me, said, boy, your grandfather was something else, but, I didn't remember none of those things. When I remember them, my grandmother was older, and, he was getting around, and then she ended up going to the nursing home. But even then, after then, now that I'm older, I remember different women coming to the house as friends, sitting over there talking. But when you young, you don't think that like, oh, they come over to visit Papa. You know what I'm saying? But you don't think, you know what I mean? But my grandfather was something else, fam. But needs to say, he got into a relationship with a woman, and I want to talk about this because this is something that I learned, and this is something that really helped me understand things about my family and about my father. So my grandfather ended up getting in a relationship with a lady, and the lady wanted my grandfather to leave my grandmother, and he wouldn't do it. He was like, he wasn't gonna leave his wife, and so the lady ended up, coming over my grandfather's house, getting some of my grandmother's personal things, some hair, some of her personal belongings, and she got a spell, so to speak, put on my grandmother. And they put this some type of items, some of personal hair and some other things inside of this tin can type of deal, and they put it under her step and buried it. So when my grandmother left out the house, when she crossed the step, family, she lost her mind. Like she went crazy. Like literally, she lost her mind. And they had to put her in hospitals, like it was like an instant all time, like it was like some crazy stuff, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. They had took her to places, and they was talking to people, and someone told them about what happened. And one of my aunts that I ended up going to visit in Georgia, she was actually there, and she seen them when they digged it up. She was like, I don't know exactly what was in it, but I seen them when they digged it up from under the steps. And when they digged it from under the steps, family, they said that she said it had some stuff in it. They removed it. My uncle, which is dead now, his name was Baybra, he removed it, and they got rid of it. And they said they had my grandmother come back out the house, and the lady was there and told her what to do or whatever, did a prayer or something, and then they told her to come back out the house. Soon as she crossed over the steps again, family, my grandmother instantly got her mind back. I can't make it up. My aunt said she was there, it blew her mind. Like it came back as if she had never went crazy. And they said she did good for a while. Everything was good. And then it was like something happened and it came back. And when it came back for a little longer. They got rid of it, and then it came back again, and it didn't leave, fam. And that's when I remember her, going inside of the nursing home when I was young, because I remember being young going to see her. And sometimes I remember going to see my grandmother family. She'd be like, hey, little Joe, how you doing, baby? Come over here and sit on my lap, and she'll know me and we'll talk. And then other times I go in their family and she'll just look at me like I was a stranger. She'll just look, and I say, grandmama, I try to talk to her. And I remember her saying, she'll say things like off the wall things, and I remember it got to hurt my feelings, and I stopped going, fam, and my grandfather, though, I can say he was religious. He went up there every Sunday. He went up there and seen her, and then during the week, he went up there like twice. And so he lived in Arkansas City, and he drove to McGee, which is probably about 11 miles, and he drove in to make sure he visited her. And I remember I stopped going, fam. And it was before I got incarcerated, so it was around 94 or 93. I was 13, I believe. I believe I was 13 when this happened, when my grandmother died. I think it was 93. I was 13, I believe, when she passed. And I remember being at the funeral. I remember seeing some of her sisters that I had never seen. All of them was well put together women. Like they was very dressed, very dressed. They was attractive, older ladies, you know what I mean? Women I never seen. I never seen these people, and they was like, "This is your grandmother's sisters," and I'm like, they was kind of uppity, and I remember, and family, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I remember feeling some type of way. My mom was there beside me, and she was like, "Yeah, that's they family, they always, thought they was a little too better to be down here, My grandmother and my grandfather lived a little different." But, that's what my mom felt. And I even felt some type of way, But the only one that I knew was Baybra, my uncle, my grandmother's brother. He always came down to visit. Always. Baybra was something else, man. That can be a whole other story talking about Baybra, my uncle Baybra, which it also goes into, breaking generational black curses, because a lot of stuff go through our blood and happens that we don't even understand. And the only reason I'm sharing this story with y'all, family, because I had to break some curses. Like, growing up, I was angry at my father. Like, I'm telling you about angry. You know, I ended up going to prison. I ended up getting locked up basically at 15, turning 16 in the county jail, going to prison at 16 to 26 years old. And, the streets raised me, and I was always mad and upset that my father didn't give me no instructions, that he wasn't like the fathers that I seen in some of the guys' lives, that I was growing up with. And I just didn't understand, why, things were so difficult growing up. I even felt like, man, at times I felt like, he don't even, I felt like he didn't want me. You know what I mean? Like, as if I was a mistake or something, you know what I mean? To be honest with you. And growing up, though, my mom used to always, she kept installing me, telling me, boy, you special, you're going to do something. God got a plan for you. And even my grandfather, my dad's dad, he always talked to me, he always gave me, jewels, you know what I mean? But, growing up, you don't really understand it all, fam, you know what I mean? And then while I was in prison, I lost my grandfather when I was 21. And then I came back, and we buried him, and I got a chance to come home on a furlough when I was 21, and still while I was still in prison, and I buried my grandfather, and it was, it was sad, fam. Nah. What you said, God don't make mistakes. So buried my grandfather, but needless to say, my aunt told me about what happened with my grandmother. Now, I'm gonna go back some and talk about this. Now, during this time when this stuff happened to my grandmother, my father was born. So he was born when her mind wasn't right. So his mind wasn't right, family. My auntie said that they always looked at my dad a little different growing up. Like, man, y'all watch him. He was an attractive guy, but he wasn't always right. You know what I mean? They say he used to watch him do things, and she used to say, like, man, y'all about to watch Joel, because everybody called him Joel. He was always smiling, you know what I mean? Always into something, you know what I mean? And they was like, one day everybody was looking for him as a kid, and he literally hid and had people looking for him, and said he just walked out smiling, and everybody was looking for him. My aunt was like, boy, they was mad at him, and he had this little grin on his face. This is my aunt telling the story, so it's kind of funny, because she bust out laughing. She was like, man, he had this grin on his face. She said, I can remember it to this day. And he was like, she told me, she was like, once I found out that your father had kids, which is me and my sister, and I got another sister that's live in Vallejo, California, which name's Tamika, but I haven't spoke to her in a while, fam. But it's my sister, my older sister, so I love her. She a few years older than me. And she said once she found out that my dad had kids, she wanted to contact him. She was like, man, if Joel had kids, I need to contact and make sure the kid's okay, because I know he wasn't right. So she was thinking that all of us was messed up. You know what I'm saying? She was like, man, they got to be, because he wasn't right, but we was blessed. You know what I mean? And after her talking to me, she was like, man, I'm glad that none of that stuff happened, because, to this day, fam, my dad ain't, I can tell that he's different. We have talked, we have, sat down and hold conversation and apologized to one another, but we have also had the opportunity to just be, to be open, and he can only express certain things. Like, even to this day, he can only tell me certain things, and I get it and I understand now, so I had to ask him to forgive me for even judging him for not being there for me, for not being this type of father, because I didn't know what he went through. I didn't know that it was like that. And for him to go through what he went through and still make it, that's a story by itself. You know what I mean? So, I had to sit back and humble myself and say, you know what, I got to forgive him and release that from him, so that way I can grow. You know what I mean? So, but it was cool, that, because it allowed me to grow, and it allowed him to, because I can tell that it made him feel a lot better that he didn't have to fully explain everything, because, older black man from that era, especially from where I'm from the cotton fields, fam, they don't know how to express man, if you from, like, literally, like, man, around from my age to 70, man, they don't know how to express their emotions. They don't really just talk. They just work. They just do. They just say, just do. You know what I mean? They just different. You know what I mean? Because we were just raised with work ethic. So, you know, it's a little different. But you know, to this day, man, our conversations, you know, have got better. But I have to get information from his peers and his family that was around him. Certain things that I want to know, I still can't ask him. You know what I mean? Like I can talk to him, but I can't get the answers that I want. You know what I mean? But now I understand though the situation he was born in. You know, with my grandmother, and and that my grandfather was caught up with this woman that put her in the situation. So it even shows how a black man would do that. You know what I mean? From living in their lower self, and he still loved her. He didn't know that lady was gonna do that, but it happened because of something he did. So something he did, not only did it curse his wife, it cursed his son. His son was born with a condition, a mental condition that affected him for the rest of his life, affected his kids and their relationship. You see how the curse kept going? You know what I mean? So I had to get to the point where I was like, you know what, fam? Enough is enough. You know what I mean? And I started working on me. I started waking up. I started learning. I started, you know, learning about our ancestors, learning about myself, learning about my past, learning about where I'm going. You know what I mean? And all of that opened up my eyes so that way I can do better things. You know, with my kids and with the legacy that I want to leave behind. You know what I mean? So, you know, I did a project, you know, the other day. And before I get into that, let me make sure I check this out. I see a couple messages popped up and make sure I check y'all out and say these messages. I appreciate everybody for checking in. Appreciate that, man. Thanks for checking in, ATL. I know that's right. Man, I appreciate that, King. I appreciate that, King. Stay focused, bro. We're gonna be all right. You hear me? So before I, you know, finish that, you know, finish the story, you know, when after everything, you know, came to a head and I figured out, you know, the stuff that happened with my dad and my grandfather, you know what I mean? And how my grandmother, you know, suffered from that condition. And then finding out my heritage too, you know, finding out that my grandmother, my great grandmother, husband, she was black in Cherokee, and her husband was Osage. Okay, so it was another set of kids that was from that on top of the kids that, because it was two sets of kids that was born from her first husband and then from her second husband. So I also got photos of them. But learning all of this about my life, man, you know, really humbled me, family. You know what I mean? Because it gave me the opportunity to put everything on the plate. And I did this project the other day, and I was helping a gentleman to actually know my dad, know my uncle, um, the history of my lineage, you know, my people from my dad's side, and you know, he really know him. And I helped them do a project, fam. And you know, when I got done, you know, I'm gonna do what I do. You know, I'm gonna get my hog on. I helped them out. We laughed, joked, had a good time, and got some work done. And I moved on to the next, you know, next project. And he was so impressed with, you know, how I helped him and what I did that he called my classmates. You know what I mean? And they told me, was like, yeah, you know, he was impressed, you know, with what happened. You know, he was saying, you know, coming from where, you know, he come from, man, that boy done did something, you know, with his life. He done turned around, you know, coming from, you know, because he know where I came from. And he was like, boy, he's doing something. So it made me feel like I'm breaking the chains. I'm breaking the curses. You know what I mean? Because someone else seen it from the outside. So, you know, it's better when someone else sees it from the outside when you're making progress, because they can go run and tell a story, family, that you can't tell. You see what I'm saying? They can go say, hey, I seen so and so. You know, he was doing this and this. And by the time you get there and they see you do something else, they say, yeah, I seen him do that. You know what this, you know, because, you know, that way people can know that even though you can be from a crooked, dirty road, so to speak, you can change, fam. You know, it's all about the information. If you never get new information, fam, you can't expect to change. You can't expect to do great things with misguided information. You know what I mean? I made a statement, man. I made a post on my Facebook page today, and I said, man, I hate it when someone say, well, this is how we used to do it back in the day. You know, like that's cold. Man, listen, things have changed, man. We ain't back in the day no more. It's a whole lot of things have changed. You think we supposed to do things just for verbatim, just because this is how it's done? You know, I remember this older lady. It was like 3 generations sitting there, and they was doing the Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner, and they was doing the turkey, and the lady, you know, and not the turkey, they was doing the ham, and they was doing the traditional, you know, like grandmama always did, and the lady cut it and put it in there, and then it was like, oh, you know, this is how grandmama always did. Big mama did it like this, you know, this and this, and they was cutting and they was talking about it. So they was like, so why Big Mama always did this? And the lady was like, you know, the only reason she did that because during our time we didn't have a big enough pan to put the whole ham in. So we cut the ends off the ham, slide the ham in there, that way we can cook it. Generation and generations, they throwing away pieces of ham, thinking that part ain't good because grandmama had them didn't have enough bigger pan to put it in. Now they throwing away the ham. Now, you know what I mean, this generation thinking, oh, this is cold, this is much. You got to do it just like this. This is how. See, that's what we do, fam. That's what we do. And we pass down generational stuff that we could fix, but we hold on to that, you know, and I really feel like, you know, that's what catches us up, family, because we don't want to change. You know what I mean? We don't want to realize that, hey, things are changed. Things are different. We got bigger pots. We ain't got to cut off the ham and throw it away. We can eat that. Actually, that's probably be a good piece. I don't eat ham, but I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? You know, that might be a good piece. You know what I'm saying? But all I'm saying is, you know, you don't have to throw it away no more. We got bigger pots and pans. We got bigger ovens now. You can cook big pieces. But back in the day, that's how they did it. So all I'm wanting to say is, man, you know, we have to break these generational curses and chains. I know it is, fam. I know it is. Hey, I was telling my classmate, and she fell out laughing. You know what I mean? So you know, it's just funny how we can use situations from our past, generational things that we do from holidays, different, you know, different things that we believe in, you know. So, you know, there's so much, man. You know, I don't like to get, you know, I always say on my page, you know, I don't go with the religion, you know what I mean? I'm spiritual, you know what I mean? I believe in the truth. But when it comes to religions, you know, I let people do and believe what they believe. And I just speak the truth. I don't push anything on anyone. I just do what I do. You know what I mean? I just do what I do. You know what I mean? I don't try to push anything on anyone. But I do believe this, man. I do believe um, as black natives, man, we have to learn more about our history. We have to learn more about our lineage. We have to learn more about where we come from. And once we start learning about our bloodline, we'll understand, family, why we do what we do. You know, why your nose the way it is. You know, why your hair the way it is. Why I'm black and I got hair, you throw water on it to curl up. You know what I'm saying? Look at this. This is where I had someone ask me, check this out. Someone asked me today, is that weave? Did you weave that in? No, this ain't weave, man. This is real. Ask me, is it weave? No, ain't no weave. You know what I'm saying? But you know, hey, some things that we got to know from our past, you know what I mean? All this is through my lineage. You know, for my skin to be the way it is, and for my hair to be the way it is. You know what I mean? And you know, it is what it is, fam. You know what I mean? So I even like to tell people the history on, you know, me wearing gold teeth. My grandmother pretty much almost had, if not all her teeth, everything you can see that was smiling, it was gold, you know. But we come from the slave fields and the cotton fields where once we left them, we was able to take care of ourselves. And once you was able to do that, that meant you was free, and you was able to show those other slaves that those, when they seen you take care of yourself and your mouth was fixed, it wasn't rotten, oh, this person free. You're able to take care of yourself. That's how we identified the free from those who were still in bondage. And so my family just so happened to come up and had a little money coming from on my dad's side, coming from Louisiana up through Arkansas through Eudora area. And they was into politics. They had some land. They had some real estate. And this is things that I didn't know, you know. And these are things that I'm into now that I didn't know that my great folks was into. You see what I'm saying? But this is things that I'm learning now, like the last year. Family, like I can literally say, like the last year, I have gained so much information on my past, on my lineage, where I come from, my people, even my mom and my dad's side. You know, because we know that the bloodline comes from your dad's side. but your mom is a mixture in it. But your dad is literally, you know how they say, what his 99 point something his. That's how much it comes from your dad. That other percentage, that's your mom. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we really have to learn things like that, fam, and we really have to take that stuff into consideration. Let me go back and check out everybody. I see a couple things pop up. Yes, man, and that part of Mississippi, most definitely, family. Too funny. Yeah, man, you need to learn. Hey, bro, it's good. It's good to learn your heritage. Like I say, man, I got pictures. I wish I had the photos, and I'm trying to think of where they at, fam. If I can think where they at real quick, I go get them just to show y'all because we live. Hold up. I remember one day I was looking at them in here. I might have them in my trunk, and if they're not in here, okay, they're not in here. I think it's one more place I'm gonna go check that they might be. But most definitely, fam, I mean, we need to learn our heritage, man. We need to see all these things, fam, we can learn. And once we learn these things, we can start breaking generational curses. You know what I mean? We can start doing something. We can start letting our families know. Because you know what? For us to be kings, fam, we all are kings. But if you don't know, you can't live up to your title. So that's why it's good to know who you are and where you come from so you can live up to your name. So that way you can embrace it. And if you didn't come from nothing, you can make something better of the name. You say, you know what, our name was this way. People looked at us like this. I'm going to change that. I'm going to make my name better than what they said it was. And that's my goal. You know what I mean? That's how I get my hog on. I feel like, hey, I know, I was raised rough without a pot to piss in, like real talk, but I know that if you give a person the right information, if you wake a person up, they won't be the same, fam. If a person embraced the light, man, ain't no way you can stay the same. There's no way. You know what I'm saying? There's no way, fam. You might do it for a while. You know how you do something, you run back to your old ways, you be like, oh man. You run back to it, and then it'll hit you and be like, you know what? I'm gonna have to let this go. I really feel that that's what we have to do, fam. We have to embrace it and allow the light to really penetrate, a lot of truth, really do your homework. And let me say this, especially when you're doing homework on your Black culture, don't get bitter, fam. Get better. It's okay to get angry. It's okay. You're going to get upset once you learn certain things. And it's okay. It is what it is. But don't get angry, fam. Don't get bitter where it affects you. Let that stuff go on. Learn from it. Use it as a tool. Educate your kids. Educate their kids. And then, keep building. But everybody isn't like that. And I have learned that from traveling, family. I have traveled from South Carolina to Washington, fam. From north to south. I haven't been to California, but I done went around. And everybody ain't the same, fam. Everybody don't preach hate. Everybody ain't hateful. Everybody don't hate us. You know what I mean? But coming from our area, sometimes when we surrounded in a small town or a small vicinity, we think that it's like this everywhere. And it's not like this everywhere, It just might be like that in the area where we in. So that's why I say it's good to travel too. So for those who want to jump into mobile welding, man, and traveling and seeing the country, do that, man, because it gives you the opportunity to get paid, see some things, enjoy some stuff off somebody else's dime. And I think that's a blessing too. I'm going to step in real quick because I think I got these photos. And I want to show y'all real quick why it's on my mind. And it's only one more place, fam. I got one more spot. I'm going to look real quick. If it's in here, I'm going to show y'all. It's a good day out here today. What's up with it now, fam? It's a good day out here, so people actually coming up. Doing some laundry. My bad, man. I'm coming here. See if I can find this, and I'm going to step back out. She's watching a good movie, and it ain't like the people start to pull up. It's a good day out here, fam. You know, we got the neighbors coming out. You know it's a good day when they start pulling up with the pulling up, bringing the beer out. Oh, it's that time. So I want to show y'all. This is my dad's brother right here. This is my dad's brother. His name is Fred Jr. That's my niece. That's his niece, which is my first cousin, and that's her son. This is someone that the man that I was talking to and helped do the job the other day that he remembered, and he was like, "Man, I remember Fred when he was young, man, because my uncle used to sing too. You know, he was a singer." So let me find this. If this is okay. Let me show y'all this. I think I posted this one time. Here go a picture right here. Now this is a picture when I was. Let me get this so you can see what's right. All right, this is a picture when I was actually 17 on that picture, and that's my daughter right there. That's my daughter, and that's me when I was 17 in prison. That was actually my first Christmas in that thing. Like, it was critical. Now we're going down and show y'all. This is a picture of my. This says grandfather. This is the great grandfather. This is him. Check him out, fam. Look at it. Look at his hair. You can tell. Look at him. That's great grandfather right there. This is history. That's an old picture. That's my family. So you can tell something's going on here in the blood. You see that, don't you? Now, let me show you this one. That one say Granddad Osage, and that says Grandma. So you can't really see it real good. Cherokee. Now, check this out. Hold up, man. I think man, look like I'm finna lose. So check this out before we go out. Here go my grandmother here, right here. She's Cherokee. That's her husband. My great grandfather. He's Osage. You see them, don't you? And check this out. Look at these. Look at my great grandfather, his kids. Look at his wife and kids. Check them out. They had a line, didn't they? They had a line. So check out. That's family, bro. That's my bloodline. Look at that. Y'all see that? That's my great. That's where my father come from. I come from that bloodline, and you can tell just by the photos that, you know, what's in our blood. I thought I had a couple more, but those. Oh, here go another old good one of some of my family from back in the day. You know, I got a chance to get a couple cool photos that really put me up on my history that I kept. But my cousin, she got a lot of photos, and, you know, photos of everyone, and kind of tell more of a story, you know what I mean? But I got a chance to get some, so I wanted to share that with y'all. I'm glad I found them, fam, because normally they'd be hidden somewhere. I'm glad I got a chance to share those with y'all, because normally they're hidden. But like I say, doing this video, I really feel we got to break generational curses, and being able to do that project and help him out, and for him to see that I have been changed and that I've been working on myself, and him, you know, to say, man, that boy that came a long way, you know, it really made me feel good, fam. So it let me know that I'm breaking them, you know what I mean? One day at a time, one stage at a time. It's not going to happen overnight. But as long as I keep getting my hog on, fam. So, you know, before this video end up ending, because it's about to get ready to die, my phone's going to get ready to die. Y'all be blessed, continue to prosper, keep getting your hog on, fam. Learn about your history, learn about your heritage, do your homework, honor your ancestors, be humble, stay spiritual, be blessed. Y'all keep getting your hog on. I'm out. Black Feniks.